Hello and welcome to week 2 as we take on Alabama in our first ever SEC game, and I can't think of a bigger test to take ourselves on and see if we can stack up against these SEC teams. Alabama presents a unique challenge though. They didn't play a game in week 1, so we don't know who their starter is going to be. I expect it to be Jalen Milroe based on the experience that he had in the offense last year, but Tyler Buckner or Ty Simpson are similarly rated and could easily be the starter today, so that's obviously going to be one of the big storylines we'll keep an eye on. And then on the defensive side, they have some straight-up studs. Tim Smith at right end and Jaheim Otis at defensive tackle are huge bodies that are going to make the running game really difficult for us to get going, so we'll see if we can handle that. And then Dallas Turner is going to fit that Will Anderson-like role and be a disruptive force that I would expect us to try and stay away from. And then Kool-Aid McKinstry is their best defensive player, and other than having a great name, has some amazing skills that are going to try and lock down our guys like Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. They are kind of thin at corner with only 5 scholarship guys ready to suit up, but they have some pretty elite skills and have a true freshman in Des Ricks who will be in that slot who has some amazing physical talents, and we're just going to have to see if he's going to be able to live up to that prowess there. And then the other big story on this defense is at free safety with Caleb Downs. True freshman who has all of the skills in the world, who really could be a game changer depending on how this game goes, so I'll be keeping an eye on him on the defense. So with that being said, Alabama is going to be not just a very difficult team because they are that number 2 team in the country, but there's a lot of mystery that we're going to have to solve today. There is some tape on us and what we tried to do last week, but we're not going to try and stay the same. We have a lot of different looks that I want to try and throw at them and hopefully keep moving our way up into the SEC pecking order and establish ourselves as one of the top teams in this conference. And I can think of no better way than by knocking off Alabama in our first ever SEC game. Now let's get to kickoff. Alabama boots this one away, and we are on for this SEC season, and Florida State is going to take over after the touchback here on 1st and 10. Florida State last week really had a hard time getting their offense going. Let's see if they can switch it up today. Travis, play action looking, trying to get away, and down goes Travis. Kendrick Blackshear shows up with a sack, and they've immediately established that it's a welcome to the SEC moment for these Florida State Seminoles. It's going to be 2nd and 22 now, as Travis has got to get some positive yards here. You do not want to be in 3rd and extra long against this defense. Let's see what he can find. He sits back, finds Johnny Wilson at the 25. He slips a little bit before he's taken down for 11 yards to get back to 3rd and 10. Now on 3rd and 10. Travis looking, takes the snap, looks away. He's got a guy in Jaheim Bell. He gets it out to him and just overthrows him, and that is another dysfunctional look there for the offense. And Alabama tells them early that you are going to have to earn every moment here. And now, Florida State on for the punt. Alex Mastromano gets the look here, boots it deep. It's going to go to the Georgia transfer, Jermaine Burton, who makes a move, slips a tackle, and he's going to get close to the 45-yard line on an 11-yard return. Now let's see who's going to come out of that huddle, and it is Jalen Milroe is going to get the start today. He made 1 start last season. Let's see how he does today. Takes the snap, hands it off to Jason McClellan, who throws off a linebacker and has already got first down yardage. And Alabama has definitely hit Florida State's defense in the mouth early here and established that it is big boy football here today. Milroe going to take the snap in enemy territory, looks around, tries to find, and Kalen DeLoach has wrapped him up, thrown him down, and that is going to go down as a sack of 2 yards. And the Florida State defense responds. And you can tell that they were trying to get a look here by Alabama of trying to get Jalen Milroe out of the pocket, try and get him a running lane early on here, but Kalen DeLoach ran him down and was able to wrap him up and force them into a 2nd and 12 here. Milroe under center now. He drops back, and he's going to find Brooks. Ja'Cory Brooks throws off a defender, and he's going to race down here for almost 30 yards of a gain there, and that's got to be really troubling for Florida State. Is 2 out of 3 plays an Alabama skill player is throwing off your guys, and you've got to be toughened up here. It's going to be Milroe in the shotgun now. He's looking. He fires cross down inside the 10-yard line to Kendrick Law there, the redshirt freshman with plenty of talent. It's 1st and goal for this Alabama offense, looking for first blood now. He's going to change it at the line here. He's going to step back into more of a pistol look now, still with Jason McClellan in the backfield and a 3 wide to the left. He's going to take a read option, and he's thrown down on this play by Renardo Green, the DB, and that's a nice play by Florida State. who has had a hard time really wrangling in those Alabama players, but Jalen Milroe can't escape for the second time. Second and goal now for Jalen Milroe. He's going to hand it off to Jace McClellan, throws off another defender as usual, and he'll get 3 to make this a 3rd and 9 now, as he's got 2 rushes for 13 yards. Now we're going to have 4 guys out wide with Milroe in the shotgun, and no, he's going to switch it up and flip the play, looking for a better look now on 3rd and goal with 5.5 to play. Milroe looking. He's going to try and hit his guy, and that was caught, but out of bounds, which will bring up 4th and goal and a field goal now for Alabama. We're going to be looking on for the snap as it's Will Reichard, one of the best kickers in the SEC, and he drives it through, and that puts Alabama up 3-0 early on in this game. On the next drive, it's Florida State on 1st and 10, as they've got Trey Benson in the backfield with the safety kind of pushing up here, trying to crowd the box on him. Florida State changes the play. Let's see if Travis gets a better look now. That safety creeping up again. Let's see what he finds. He's back in the pocket. He's going to throw it deep, and this is going way over the head, and I guess that was intended for Keon Coleman, but that play was nowhere close. And Alabama clearly has Florida State frazzled here early on in this one. It's going to be Florida State in a similar look. Hand off to Benson. He's going to find a lane early. He's going to drive up the field, and that is 17 early yards. And clearly that's going to be your path to success if you're Florida State. You need to stick with it if you want to be able to get yourselves into some favorable downs. And they're going to speed this up and pick up a play early. No huddle offense, trying to see if they can get Alabama off guard after a first down. Travis back, looking, and that's a great play by the true freshman Des Ricks, who spurned Florida State in his recruitment and spurns them with a pass deflection here to force 2nd and 10. Travis looking again. He finds Destin Hill. No, it's knocked out. And Alabama is just out-toughing Florida State, and it brings up a 3rd and 10 that kind of feels like a must-have at this point in the game. There's Travis. He finds over the middle Jaheim Bell, the South Carolina transfer, for 13 yards on the catch there. And after the first down, again, Florida State is hurrying it up with a no-huddle offense, trying to keep Alabama off balance because I think they can tell that Alabama in their base sets has been effective and they need to keep them on a different plane. This is a carry to Benson, and he finds another good crease for 5 yards. So whatever this no-huddle look that they're getting, they're kind of liking and staying with. That's going to be now Travis in the pistol, fake the handoff, and he's going to try and get a running lane, and both quarterbacks are not finding anything on the ground early, and you would think that would be advantage Florida State based on how Jordan Travis has thrown the ball, but early on he's looked frazzled and may need his legs. Here's another pass play. He finds Johnny Wilson, who is 1 yard short for a 4th and 1, and brings up decision time, but it's a quick decision from Florida State, as they are going to go no huddle here again, trying to push Bama. Let's see if they're able to get that tough yardage. You would imagine they're going to try and run into this light box. Here's Lawrence Toafili, and he will get 2 yards of the one he needed, and that'll bring up first down. And here we go again, another no-huddle look. Still trying to push tempo, seeing if they can get that Alabama defense to break, but they've stayed pretty strong in this 3-down front so far. It's going to be a pistol look on 1st and 10 for Travis. He gets the snap, fakes the handoff, and then he is hit. And it is a 3 of 8 start for 28 yards. And this Alabama defense has to feel good because Florida State has been effective on the ground with the running backs, but has not stayed with it and is still trying to pass. Travis makes a check at the line. Toafili in the motion. He's looking over the middle, and he finds Kentron Portier, and that's going to be 14 yards. That is his first catch on the season. A guy that was expected to break out, but was not able to find any kind of openings last week. Still staying in the hurry-up, keeping tempo on Bama, liking the look that they're getting, and Bama throws a different kind of a defensive look here with a roaming linebacker. He's coming on the blitz. Travis steps up, though. He's looking. He's going to run, and he is close to a first down, but it'll be 2nd down and 1, and Florida State is going to slow it down, it looks like, and they're going to bring up 2nd and 1 here. Here's Benson, and he gets hit immediately for a 2-yard loss, and it's 3rd and 3, so the huddle look there did not throw Alabama off, and now they're going to go with a 5-wide look under center. Let's see if Florida State can find a crease. Here's the snap, and Travis just absolutely misses Keon Coleman. And you can see on the replay of this look here, Keon Coleman is wide open. He's got his 2 blockers who have got the guys blocked off, maybe illegally on an offensive pass interference here. But he has a wide open lane that if Travis hits him, it's at least first down yardage, and you're putting a big receiver with a chance to get to the end zone there, and that's just a total miss, and it's going to bring up 4th down for the Noles now. And with 4th and 3, it's going to be Ryan Fitzgerald on with 2.5 minutes to go in the first to try and tie this game up at 3 with the kick up. And that's going to be good. And now we're going to head over to the next Alabama drive for Jalen Milroe, who looked pretty decent. The ball did not hit the ground on that last drive. The one incompletion was an out-of-bounds play. In the pistol look, here comes Jason McClellan, and he keeps fighting, and he is hitting this Florida State defense in the mouth, and they are going to need to respond if they want to win this game. The physical approach from Bama is what you would expect from them, and Florida State looks taken off guard and a little dazed and confused. It's 2nd and 5 now for Milroe. He's going to find Ja'Cory Brooks. He fights through that play with the All-American caliber corner in Fentrell Cypress and is just able to fight the ball away from him, and that's going to be first down yardage for Bama as Jalen Milroe seems to be in a rhythm with under 2 minutes to go in the first. Here's Jace McClellan looking for a lane, and Florida State is finally able to wrangle him together without McClellan getting too much extra yardage, but he's been more than effective on the ground so far, and that is not a recipe for success here. Kobe Prentice was in motion, and it's going to be Milroe looking back, and he's going to find the tight end Robbie Oots there for a 19-yard reception, and that's going to be 1st and 10 for Alabama. Milroe staying under center, and the passing game has been effective, and that's been the biggest surprise so far. Milroe finds Nablack there, and that's going to be 10 yards, and slowly but surely they are moving their way down the field, but I wouldn't even say it's a dink and duck approach. He's been getting these explosive plays of more than 10 yards, and a lot of it's been under center, so kudos to them. Another man in motion. Milroe with the handoff to Jace McClellan, and he's going to get almost 10 yards in the first down, and it's going to bring up 2nd and inches from right inside the red zone at the 19-yard line. Pistol look for Milroe. He drops back, and he's able to find the Kobe Prentice there for 9 yards, and they're spreading the ball around, keeping the offense varied, and Florida State definitely looks like they are not ready for what they were going to see today, and you can't really blame them. This is not how Jalen Milroe looked last year. Here's the handoff to McClellan. He cuts out to the outside, but is stopped for a 5-yard gain, and it's going to be about at the 5-yard line for Alabama as they're trying to go up 10-3. Pistol look again for Milroe, everybody to his right side. He makes some kind of switch at the line, fakes the handoff, and he's going to be looking for the end zone. He's hit, and then he is finished off for a negative 2-yard rush. And that'll be a 3rd down play. Good play by Akeem Dent, the safety, as that'll bring an end to the first quarter. That saw the Alabama defense assert some authority, and the offense doing the same, pushing around this Florida State defense a little bit. And now Florida State needs to step up on this 3rd down, keep them out of the end zone, and keep this to a 6-3 game. Milroe back. He looks, he finds, and it's out of bounds again. So the 2 incompletions today for Jalen Milroe have just been out of bounds plays, and nothing has hit the ground. And one of the best kickers in the SEC, Will Reichert, is waiting for the snap now, looking to put them up 6-3. The kick is up, and it is good, and it is 6-3 Alabama, heading into this 3rd Florida State drive. That still feels very important for them to try and find some consistency and a recipe for success. Here's Benson. He gets a little bit of room off the tackles, and that's going to be 6 yards, and he's ran fairly well. You have to think they would try to stick with that run game to at least be able to get this offense a little more comfortable. Here's the snap, and it's a fake handoff to Benson, and Travis is all the way to the outside. He's past the 50, the 40, the 30, inside the 20 to the 15, and that is the kind of explosive play that Florida State needed. They were severely lacking that explosion here in the offense in the early going, and Travis is able to supply it. And now it is 1st down and 10, and Florida State is poised to be able to take a lead somehow on the screen pass out to Coleman. He's going to keep fighting all the way close to the 1-yard line. That's 14 yards on the reception for Keon Coleman, and Florida State is 1 yard from pay dirt. Travis is under center with Benson in the backfield, and he's going to get himself into the end zone on a very short run, but well-deserved for the way that he has attacked the line today. And Benson is able to get another touchdown on the board for Florida State to put them up 10-6. Milroe and company now down by 4 points in an unfamiliar spot. Milroe dropping back, and he throws this very wildly. The first erratic throw for Milroe on the day where you really had to feel like you didn't know what he was doing there. So now he's under center, finding Jace McClellan, who gets to the outside. He picks up a block from Brooks, and he gets himself close to the 50-yard line for a 21-yard rush. And if you're Bama, you have got to keep pounding the rock with Jace McClellan. You've had some success in the past game, but you have to feel like you've gotten lucky so far. Stick to what's gotten you here, and that's the consistent running from Jace McClellan. But they're in the shotgun with a snap. He's looking to find, and he throws and gets hit on the throw. That was Fentrell Cypress with the pressure and makes it a 6 for 10 day for Milroe. 2 incompletions on this drive already when he only had 2 coming into it. Here's the snap and the run for McClellan. He gets in close to a first down, but it'll still be 2 yards short on that 8-yard rush. This brings up a big 3rd down for the Florida State defense now. Can they get a stop and force Alabama to make a tough decision? Milroe drops back. He's able to find Robbie Oots, the tight end, for a 1st and 10 now. This offense keeps on moving. He has made the key throws when it's mattered, and Jace McClellan is stopped immediately in the backfield. Braden Fisk is embraced by his teammates, and that it seems like to be a big momentum turner where this defense feels like they can finally stop this dude and not let him run all over him. That seems like a big moment here in the game. We'll see how they continue on in this drive. Man in motion for Milroe again. He's going to get the snap to McClellan. He looks, and he's not able to find the lane, had a kind of stutter step. And Florida State's defense with Akeem Dent there did not care and kept attacking, and now he's stopped in the backfield for a 3rd and 11 for Milroe from the shotgun. He's scanning for an open man, and there's Robbie Oots to, I would have to say that's a drop. That was a very catchable ball with coverage that was tight-ish, but it's going to lead to a punt, and now Florida State taking over at around the 20-yard line in a bunch set. Winston Wright over the formation gets the catch and run, and he'll be close to first down yardage, but still 1 yard short on the 9-yard catch for Winston Wright. Jordan Travis getting in a little more of a rhythm, feeling like he's getting comfortable, and I feel like this offense is finding its groove. And Keon Coleman, another kind of screen pass after messing up the one in the red zone. It still goes for a -1 yards, and that's going to be a 3rd and 2, and Florida State's already back on a 3rd down after getting a punt from Alabama, but Troy Benson is able to run up the middle, and he gets close to 10 yards himself as he keeps his strong running reputation, and I think he's equating himself quite well to this new SEC play as a running back that's going to be able to be a pile driver for them. There's going to be a change of play at the line for Travis. He scrambles away, he's looking down the field, big bomb, trying to get it to Keon Coleman, and it is not there as Malachi Moore, one of the better safeties in the country, is able to break that up, and it's 7 of 14 day for Travis. And after the deep shot, Trey Benson is able to get 3 yards on that carry inside the tackles and keeps Florida State out of a 3rd and very long, and it's more of a 3rd and medium for Travis as he gets the snap, and he finds Johnny Wilson right at the sticks, and that'll be a 10-yard catch of his own as he tries to find his groove in the offense and where he fits in. Travis with the snap now. He's able to find Trey Benson out of the backfield, and he picks up 7. That was not something he showcased much in the first game, but Florida State is looking for anything to keep them on schedule on this drive and trying to go up 2 scores if possible. Rodney Hill gets the carry now, and he's able to find that lane, and Florida State in the same boat as Alabama. You are able to run the ball. Why are you not sticking more with it as Florida State has stayed consistent in their approach of trying to go to the passing game on early downs and then hitting the run game on a 2nd down to shorten it up and then being stuck in another pass situation? I just can't agree with the approach, but Mike Norvell and this offense has kind of fought their way through this and has a lead at this point. Travis back and finds Keon Coleman for 15 yards over the middle, and while this may not be the most beautiful display of offense we've ever seen, it's hard to argue against the results where Travis has gotten a little more comfortable, so maybe sticking with the pass game makes sense, and they're going to go into their no-huddle look that was effective in the first quarter as time winds down in the first half. And it's going to be a shotgun snap to Travis when he gets the ball. It's here for him, and Kentron Portier puts a move on the DB, finds himself with some wide-open spaces, and after getting his first catch of the year early on in the game, Portier takes his 2nd catch for the first touchdown of the season. And with that catch, that puts Florida State in a really good spot to go into halftime with a lead at Bryant-Denny Stadium, which is more than you can ask for based on how this game looked like it was going. You could have easily seen Bama taking control, but now they're in the spot where they're going to have to respond with their probable last drive before the half is over. Milroe takes a change to the look. He'll drop back into the shotgun with McClellan. He's trying to scan, looks to find, and this throw will find the dirt. And Renardo Green was on the coverage for that one where it looked like the man had broken free, but Milroe was just not able to find him. And he looks like a totally different quarterback in this quarter as he's under center again. This time it's Ja'Cory Brooks in motion, and he's able to get the immediate catch for 5 yards, and it brings up a 3rd down that led to Florida State calling a timeout to try and preserve time, as it's a 3rd and 5 now for Milroe as he scans and tries to find, and this guy is open, and that's Ja'Cory Brooks, who will have 2 catches in a row, but this one for 22. and they'll be near the 50-yard line with a fresh set of downs. Clock is ticking, but not really a factor as they still have 2:40 to go in this first half. Man in motion from the black. Milroe with the handoff to Jace McClellan. He gets minimal yardage through traffic early for 2 yards, but the bigger blow is going to be the offensive line as J.C. Latham is being checked out, and it seems to be concussion-like symptoms that are going to keep him out for the rest of the game. That leads Alabama to a 2nd and 8 with a man in motion. Milroe with a fake handoff. He moves around the pocket. He's looking to find the black, and he's going to get into the soft spot of the zone for an 18-yard play that keeps the Alabama offense moving as they desperately want to get a score on the board before halftime to try and cut into this lead. They will get the ball after the halftime is over. Here goes Milroe on the run. He gets a little bit of running room, but only for 3 yards. That's been impressive for Florida State as they've been able to keep Jalen Milroe from really hurting them on the ground, and they've kept him as a passer. Pistol shotgun look. Here's Milroe on the fire. That's to Robbie Ouzts for a 3-yard reception for 3rd and 4. Another big 3rd down that Alabama has been facing more frequently in the second quarter than they did in the first quarter. This 3rd and 4 still seems big for Alabama. Still in field goal range, but you definitely want a touchdown if possible here. Shotgun snap. Milroe sees some men short, but he's moving around, and that's Dennis Briggs bringing down Milroe for a loss of 7 yards and bringing up 4th down. Very surprising from the run defender, Dennis Briggs getting a sack, but here's Will Reichard trying to find his 3rd field goal strike of the day on a 4th and 11. The kick is up, and it looks like it's going to be good as usual, and it's going to be a 17-9 game as we move on to Florida State's last drive before the half is over, seeing if they can put on some more points now that they found some new juice in the offense. Travis has 4 guys off to one side and 1 guy isolated on the left. He gets the snap, and he finds Keon Coleman for his 11 yards as he's become that primary receiver that Johnny Wilson was last year, and he's been getting the lion's share of targets. We got Trey Benson in the backfield on a snap to Travis. He moves in the pocket, moves up to the line of scrimmage before hitting Keon Coleman for his 2nd consecutive catch, and this time for 13 yards. That'll be 5 catches on the day so far in the first half for Keon Coleman as he's established himself as a guy who can get that separation, and Travis is appreciating it, especially as he's had to move around the pocket. Here's a man in motion for Travis where he fakes the snap, and he'll roll out the opposite way, trying to find someone. He hits Jaheim Bell on the run. That's 3 really good throws in a row for Jordan Travis, and he clearly feels it and feels like they can go get in the end zone one more time before they head to the half. Another snap to Travis. This one's a deep ball, and the ball does not even get to Johnny Wilson. That was not very well thrown as Malachi Moore breaks up his 2nd deep ball of the game. 2nd and long for Florida State is not something that they are unfamiliar with, but this time they're going to go with 5 guys out wide. Travis rolls, and he's got some room. He's got some guys open, but he's going to just try and run it. And he'll be a half a yard short as it's 3rd and inches now for this offense as they need one more conversion here. Benson will go and pile drive his way through the pile to get 4 yards. And this Florida State offense is continuing to cook with 45 seconds to go. Only 8 carries for Benson, but they've all seemed to be effective. And he has established himself as a threat on the ground. The no-huddle game is coming back. Florida State makes the call. Travis goes and looks, makes another adjustment. They want to make sure they got the right play here. Time is ticking down, so they can't go into too much of a slow pace, but they make one adjustment, flipping the field, seeing if they can get the matchup that they want. Travis with the snap and the fake inside. He's rolling. He fires as he's hit, and this ball is perfectly thrown to Jaheim Bell. That is a touchdown. 24-9 Florida State going into halftime, and that is absolutely massive to take back momentum and tell Alabama you are going to need touchdowns, not that paltry 3 field goals if you want to hang in here with us. You are the ones who are going to have to step up your game, and I'm absolutely impressed with the way that Florida State finished that half. On both sides of the ball, there was a difference in identity in that second quarter where they took control of this game. In the first quarter, both the offense and defense looked like they were a little skittish and were thrown off by how physical Alabama was. And then as soon as Mike Norvell started to go to that no-huddle, hurry-up game, you could see them find a few more advantages, and I still don't think the offense was as efficient as you would have liked. Only 8 carries from Benson is not your key to success, but the passing game has started to open up, and their guys are getting separation. We've seen 2 corner routes where the Florida State receiver has been able to find the crease, get by their DB, and get a nice throw from Travis, who's delivered some absolute strikes there, especially in the second quarter. And now it's time for Jalen Milroe and the Alabama offense to try and overcome this 15-point deficit that's going to start under center with Jason McClellan backing him up with a man in motion. Here's going to be the handoff. It's a fake. Milroe finds his man Robbie Oots, who's found the same little cornerish route a couple of times against Florida State, and they do not have the guys to keep up with this man who has played very well on special teams in the past for Bama, and this year has taken on more of a role in the offense and is definitely proving to be capable of getting a target share there. So that's very impressive and a good development for them, but they're going to need a little bit more. Here's the handoff to McClellan, and he keeps going with his reputation from the first half with a 5-yard rush. If you're Bama, you have to stick to the run game. You're only down 2 scores. You can't just go into straight on a pass game. It's not going to work out well with Milroe. And here's another run to McClellan, who this time only gets 2 yards, but you're still after 2 McClellan rushes and a 3rd and 3. Very favorable where you can still run or pass. And I think this is where the offense needs to operate if they do want to stay in this game and not be able to be so predictable. And speaking of predictability, they go from the shotgun and audible into an under center snap for Jaden Milroe. Still going to have Jason McClellan in the backfield. He's going to drop back, short scan, and hits McClellan in the flats. He breaks off 1 tackle, but is still finished off by Greedy Vance, and that'll go down as a tackle for loss and the 2nd tackle of the day for Vance, and a 4th and 5 for Florida State. The defense played so well at the end of the first half, and then they've shown up here and gotten a stop early on, and they're going to hand this back to the Florida State offense as they'll take on their first offensive drive of the second half with Benson in the backfield. Travis gets the snap, and Benson will fight his way back to the line of scrimmage for no gain, but I still think that's where your bread and butter is going to be today and what's really going to drive this offense for Florida State. Pistol look now for Travis with a man behind him, Toafili in motion. He's got 5-out options. He's going to scan, and he's going to just run himself up the middle to a 8-yard gain in 3rd and 2. Just trying to keep the offense on schedule. It's got to be what Florida State is looking for, especially when you're up 2 scores. You don't want to try and make this too difficult. Benson will take his carry, and he will take 9 yards, 8 yards. And even after Benson has a less than spectacular rush, he finds a way to rebound and have an effective rush like that puts Florida State at 1st and 10, and now under center for Travis with Keziah Holmes in the backfield, who gets the Harry, fights through traffic, and is able to pick up 5 yards of his own. This stable of Florida State running backs has been able to find its lanes, sticking to the creases that the offensive line is creating, and just taking what they're given. This will be Travis under center now with 2 guys out wide and 2 tight ends on the snap. Short look, that's Keon Coleman for a first down. No? And he did not get his foot down, and it's 3rd and 5, bringing up 3rd and medium, and it's going to be a bunch look, still under center for Travis with Keziah Holmes in the backfield, and Johnny Wilson is taking a run over the middle of the field, but the ball is knocked away as they tried to get it to the big target. And big credit to Kool-Aid McKinstry as he was able to get his hand in there and bring the ball back to Alabama for a 1st and 10 for Jalen Milroe in the offense. With the snap, Milroe drops back short, moving around the pocket. There's a lot of Florida State defenders around him before he's finally dragged down, and the sack will officially go to future first-round pick Jared Verse, who picks up his 2nd sack of the season. It's kind of a weird play with a lot of guys running around and nobody really wanting to bring him down, but it goes down as a 0-yard sack for Verse. Then that leads to Jason McClellan picking up minimum yardage, and it's already 3rd down and 9 for Alabama, and their offense looks completely different than the well-oiled machine that the first quarter brought us. 3rd and 9 snap as Milroe finding Brooks. He was short of the sticks on the catch, but is able to get an extra 10 yards, and that'll be a 17-yard catch in the books for Ja'Cory Brooks, who has a 5 for 85 day. And you have to think that Alabama wants to keep the throws to that kind of level for Jalen Milroe, where he's able to throw short of the sticks and let his receivers and tight ends do the work. And now this is going to lead to a 1st and 10 for Alabama and a huge drive for them as we're already halfway through the 3rd quarter and they're still down by 2 scores. With a man in motion, Milroe takes the snap. He's scanning. He's got time, but not anymore as Braden Fisk after an authoritative tackle for loss in the first quarter, is able to find a sack now, and that is his second official tackle for loss on the day as the Western Michigan transfer is continuing to show up in big ways for this defense. Milroe in the pocket on third down is able to find Robbie Ouzts as he gets 5 yards on this catch, and brings up a little bit more of a third and manageable and 3rd and 9 for the Alabama offense. Milroe takes the snap. He's got some guys in the middle of the field, and that one's going to go to Robbie Ouzts. Again there, another catch for him that brings his total to 6 on the day, but they are still 1 yard short, and it's going to bring on the Alabama special teams unit. Jalen Milroe has not played bad, but he's not playing well enough to win as this offense still has 9 points and no touchdowns as we're approaching the end of the third quarter. And this Florida State defense has to feel like they have accomplished something in the way that they have thrown off the Alabama offense time in and time again after a couple of drives where it looked like Alabama was the authoritative figure on that side of the ball. Travis is under center now in a drive that could really put them in a spot to win this game, and it's going to be Johnny Wilson on the end around as he fights through some Alabama defenders. A couple of guys touched him, and he's going to get to 8-yard rush before he is brought down for a 2nd and 2 on this Florida State offense. Playbook is still wide open when you're at 2nd and short. We'll see what the double running back look brings as Trey Benson does get that carry, and he fights towards first down yardage, but it'll still go down as maybe not even a yard of gain for Florida State, and it's a 3rd and 1, who is 5 of 9 on 3rd down, so let's see if Benson gets the ball back, and he's in the middle of the defense again, running his way as hard as he can, and picks up a 1st down for Florida State as we're quickly approaching the end of this third quarter. Florida State has 4 guys out wide. Lawrence Toafili slips out of the backfield, and he's going to get the catch, and he's shifting around, and he gets close to first down yardage. I don't think they're going to give it to him. I think it's officially going to be 2nd and inches, and still, that stable of Florida State running backs is able to attack you in a lot of different ways that makes them very versatile. Benson again, and he is dropped for a 2-yard loss this time, and now it is 3rd and 2. On this 3rd and 2, you have to imagine the run game is still in play, but it's also been a place where Florida State has tried to throw the ball when possible. It's going to be a pistol snap, fakes the handoff, roll out for Travis. He's got room to run, but tries to throw it. And that pass was so far offline, and yeah, he's wide open. Like, that's a great throw to try and make and could have led to a big play, but when you're trying to put a game away late in the third quarter up 2 scores against the number 2 team in the country, you just have to run the ball. This now leads to an Alabama drive that is going to start with 28 seconds left in the third quarter with Jalen Milroe under center. He takes the snap and Jace McClellan takes the carry, and that'll be 2 yards. I still have to think you have time to let Jace McClellan still be featured in this offense, but they seem to be getting a little impatient with that approach. They fake the handoff, and Milroe is able to find more running room than he has been, and that's 5 yards, and I feel like that's the best rush that Milroe has had, and I think that might be the key to why Florida State has been able to assert themselves so well in this third quarter. They did not let Milroe use his legs, they made him throw, and that led to a quarter where Alabama put 0 points on the board, and really, for the most part, their offense didn't threaten them and never really seemed to get in the groove that they needed to. Starting the fourth quarter, it's 3rd and 3 with Milroe under center. Slight motion to the outside for him. Milroe drops back. He's looking to find his man, and this ball does not even have a chance for his receiver. And Alabama, very aggressively, at the 35-yard line on 4th and 3, is going to go for it. They probably feel like this is their spot. They may not have many drives left with under 9 minutes to go. They're going to have to make a play. Milroe's snap. He's looking to the outside. The ball is tipped, and it is picked off by Kalen DeLoach, who had a huge sack in the first quarter where we said, man, maybe if Florida State can play like this, they could have a chance to actually pull this off and beat this Bama team. And now he is the fortunate receptor of a Fentrell Cypress tip and takes that interception and gives Florida State the ball back in their own territory and ready to strike and possibly go up 3 scores against this team. Travis back in the pocket. He's able to find Johnny Wilson for a catch, and that's about 14 yards, matching his jersey number, and the Florida State offense is already moving. Travis in the pistol now. He hands the ball off to Benson. No, he drops it off to Jaheim Bell, and Bell is running towards a 1st down, and he's had a really nice day again, and that's a 9-yard catch. Florida State has gone 3 for 3 in the red zone today. They're seeing if they can make it a nice 4 for 4. 8:14 remaining. He drops in the pocket, and he finds Johnny Wilson. The 6'7" receiver was able to build in that separation and give Florida State a 31-9 lead now And Jalen Milroe has got to be feeling the pressure in a 3-score game, 8 minutes to go, your second ever start. They need something here. Milroe in the pocket. He's dropping back and he's able to find Kendrick Law, who's going to move forward and get an 11-yard gain. And after that gain, it leads to a 1st and 10 for Alabama that they're going to have to keep on moving, as now we're under 8 minutes to go and all of the pressure is on Milroe. He's dropping back in the pocket. He's trying to find, and there's his man Robbie Ouzts, who's going to get him a 1st down. And the Bama offense is finding some success, but they need to find some explosive plays. You are down 3 scores with 7:45 to play. There has to be a little more explosion in this offense if you realistically want to make up these 3 scores against Florida State. Milroe's pistol snap. He's able to find McClellan on the run, and they're able to swallow him up, and there's 5 yards. And now Florida State has reached the point in this game where they will let Jace McClellan run for 5 yards at a time, because on those runs before 1st downs, they're going to keep the clock running, and this Alabama offense has to get in more of a hurry. But here is Nablack. He's able to find the weak part of the zone, and that's 12 yards for Amari Nablack, who's had a very nice game as well. It's going to be a pistol snap to Jalen Milroe with a man in motion, and he's got his running back behind him. He's going to drop back in the pocket, scans the field, and he's able to find Nablack again. But this time he'll only get 2 yards, and that reception's just going to keep running time for them. And that is not an efficient move for this Alabama offense that is still down 3 scores and is still pretty leisurely in its approach. He's able to find Law? No. Kendrick Law, the young receiver, drops that one. And, well, at least he didn't get stopped before the 1st down line and keep the clock moving. So may have actually been a blessing in disguise for him. Milroe in the shotgun. He gets the snap. Big play for him. He needs to find somebody deep. This time he does go deep, going down the sidelines, and Kobe Prentice cannot bring it down. And it is 4th and 8. It is judgment time for this Alabama offense. Are they able to make a play and keep themselves with some kind of a heartbeat in this game? It's going to be Milroe in the shotgun. He drops back. He's looking left. He's got a receiver who's breaking free. He's going to throw it up to Kobe Prentice, and they are going to say that he got a foot down. I am not sure how they can make that call, but just with the irrefutable video evidence is not going to be there. They're going to let this catch stand, and when we look back at it, it looks like that Kobe Prentice did a decentish job of getting his feet close enough to the sideline where they couldn't say for sure that he stepped out, and that's going to be a red zone trip for the Alabama offense. Here comes Milroe under center on 2nd and goal. Still 5 minutes to go. No hurry. Man in motion again for him. They're going to find the running back. Nope, it's a fake on the play action. Milroe finds Robbie Ouzts, who that seems fitting that touchdown happens for him, as he's had a really nice game, and that's still going to bring it to a 2-score game. But Alabama is going to go for 2, try to make this a 31-17 game. Might as well. It's 2 scores either way and helps you just get a little bit closer with 5.5 to go. Milroe drops back, trying to find a man to come over the middle, and he finds Kobe Prentice, and we do have that 31-17 game. But let's keep in mind, with 5.5 minutes to go, Florida State is going to try and burn the rest of this clock, and we'll see if their running game can help them do that. This is going to be Benson on the carry, as he's just running straight ahead, not even looking to the outside of the field. It is full steam ahead, and this Florida State team gets to a 3rd down. They're going to drop back under center, and he finds Keon Coleman, and that big play for 13 is going to get the Florida State offense not only the 1st down, but they're going to get the chance to keep the clock running. Next snap is going to come on 1st down with about 3:45 to play, looking for the upset. Rodney Hill, the redshirt freshman, not able to find a ton of room, but those 5 yards are going to get them that much closer, and that clock keeps a ticking away. 3rd and 2 for the Florida State offense. Trey Benson this time in the backfield. Not going to get the carry. Jordan Travis is able to sneak away and able to get that 1st down yardage with a 9-yard rush, and Florida State has got Bama down to 1 timeout, under 3 minutes to go, and they are a 1st down or 2 away from putting this game away and putting their stamp on the SEC. Snap goes to Travis, who gets it to Toa Feely. That'll be 5 more yards, and the Florida State offense keeps on moving, and will pick up now for a 2nd and 2 with 1:45 to go. Alabama, no timeouts. 1 more 1st down should really put this game away for him, and it's Rodney Hill, the redshirt freshman again, finds a big lane, and that'll put Florida State close to 200 yards rushing on the day, as they really were able to run at will. And now it's going to be victory formation time for Florida State, as they will go and get their first ever SEC win in their first ever SEC game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and pulling off the technical upset of Alabama. But these are two teams that have national title and college football playoff aspirations, and they played like it. Florida State came out and was a little bit rocky in that first half. But then in the second half, they took control and their defense asserted themselves and proved that they can play at a high level. And then the offense put the game away when they needed to. I think the most impressive part of this game was that Bama did get this to 2-score game with about 5.5 minutes to go. And then Florida State pretty much sat on the ball. They were able to run the ball effectively and do what they needed to do. And then in the pass game, their big pass catchers were able to get separation. Keon Coleman had a lot of catches and was able to be the reliable force for this team. And then guys like Kentron Portier, Johnny Wilson, and Jaheim Bell were able to create plays for themselves and get that separation and score the touchdowns for them. And that's what this game came down to. Alabama scored 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. Florida State, 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal. And obviously that equals more points, but just that efficiency there is what you'd want to keep in mind. And despite that 100% efficiency for Alabama in the red zone, it's littered with 2 field goals and a touchdown. So I'm very impressed with what we saw from Florida State today. There's still a lot of room for them to improve, but especially on the defensive side of the ball, I want to point out that there were some times that they could have given in to Alabama, and you could have seen Jalen Milroe get some confidence with a couple of touchdowns, but they held them to field goals early on. And because of that, it gave the offense some time to get in a groove, and it ended up in a fairly nice offensive game. I'd still like to see Trey Benson have a little more explosion in his game, but those 16 carries for 71 yards is still almost 4.5 yards a carry, and Travis is good for that 1 explosive carry to help carry the offensive load that almost had 200 yards rushing, as I'm going to keep using this stable of guys to keep defenses off their toes and maybe keep creating those kind of plays for us. And then on the receiving side, we see Keon Coleman had the most catches, 6 catches for 65, and Johnny Wilson 5 for 53. And there just aren't a lot of plays right now, and I tried to speed things up with the no huddle a little bit to try and throw that off and try to create some more opportunities, and I think this is a pretty decent balance, but we'll still see some different guys get involved and try and rotate some different guys into the mix here. But overall, I was very happy with how the offense ended up producing, and only giving up 1 sack, and it was on the play action play to start the game. We went the rest of the time with no sacks given up against that Alabama defense. That's a win. The offensive line is playing phenomenal. And then on the defensive side, we had some guys who stepped up pretty early on, even though they were getting thrown off early, and the Alabama offense was really physical in that first quarter. And I would argue that our best defensive tackle has been Braden Fisk, who has been able to get a pass rush and also stop the run game. And you also look at guys like Kalen DeLoach, who had 11 tackles today, the 1 TFL and the 1 sack, but also the interception off the Fentrell Cypress interception was a pretty pivotal play that came on 4th down. So I have to give the defense credit. They're showing up and making plays when they need to. That happened the last game against Oklahoma State when Azareye'h Thomas had the game-sealing interception, and then Fentrell Cypress had the big interception when Oklahoma State was starting to get momentum. So I think the defense is really rounding into form and finding their spot, and then it's giving the offense some time that put up 31 points today, which is a nice performance, but I still feel like there's some room to grow for us. So tune in for our next video, which is going to be a Week 2 recap, where we'll see all the other happenings around the sport from this week and catch up on some footage from those games. And then our next game is going to be against LSU at home. So our first SEC home game will be against LSU, and it will be as big, if not a bigger challenge. I think that LSU roster is very talented and very loaded, and it's going to continue giving us these big shots to prove ourselves on a big stage. And then we have a bye week after that, where we should be able to kind of get our legs under us and take a bigger look at the season and how we're doing compared to some other teams. Right now, I'm kind of just focused on what we're doing and what this offense is looking like, and we may change some things up coming out of the bye week, but for now, let's just appreciate the victory. Beating Bama at Bryant-Denny Stadium is something to celebrate, but we do have a big game on the horizon, so let's celebrate this one, but keep our eyes on the future. Go Noles!